Orlando. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get things started with 6 rounds in the junior welterweight division. The referee for this bout is Tony Orlando. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the black trunks with white trim and weighs 141 3/4 pounds. He's from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, West Philly to be exact. His professional record, 13 victories against the same amount of losses with 1 draw, 3 KOs. Let's hear it for Joe Alexander. And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, he's wearing the white trunks with black letters and weighs an even 140 pounds. He's originally from Rochester, New York, but now living and fighting out of Essex County, New Jersey, undefeated as a professional with a record of 6-0, 5 by KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Triple Threat Gym, Charles the Natural Murray.
Come here, gentlemen. Gentlemen, expect a good, clean fight. Expect you to listen to all my commands. Very clean when I tell you to break. Do you have any questions? Touch squad, go back to the corner.
So there's a look at Charles Murray. And he is 6-0, as you can see, coming off his second round knockout. He's got 5 knockouts. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ring, Joe Alexander. And probably the best advice I can think of here, Dave, is don't go to the refrigerator.
A lot of these fights, some early knockout potential with the Olympians.
Yeah, usually, in fact, to be very honest with you, you want to really look at both sides of the fight to see who really wins the fight or loses the fight. I think if any of the Olympians loses the fight tonight, it would be considered not even a mild surprise. It would be a huge surprise. So I think in this case, you might want to look at the marquee guys. You might want to look at the Olympians and kind of look at it in the sense that where is this guy going to go from here? How good is he really, and how good can he be?
You've got to develop the progress angle and see exactly how they're going to mature and try to get some kind of an idea. As far as the Olympians go, they just went into a brand new spanking facility, almost $1 million involved in Newark. And it's got a sauna, whirlpool, jacuzzi, just about everything. A videotape room to really study. It's state of the art as far as boxing preparation goes.
It really is. Mark Roberts having put that together. And Ray Mercer, Andrew Maynard, Alfred Cole, Charles Murray, all, of course, trained there.
One manager that backed up his commitment to his fighters and gave them a nice place.
Really did. And state of the art is exactly the right description. Joe Alexander, incidentally, introduced, and I feel we have to say this too, 13-13-1, but in the line-by-line records that we get, his record added up to 4-10-1, and he's been knocked out 5 times. The right hand by Murray.
Murray showing the quick hand speed we mentioned at the outset. Another good right hand, and that one hurt.
And as I said, don't go to the refrigerator.
That's a strange knockdown. Almost a willing knockdown as far as Alexander's participation.
This isn't going to go too far, I can tell you right now. I don't usually pretend to be that sure, but in this case, I'm pretty sure. Alexander really, other than holding his hands up, is putting up very little battle. Right back into the corner. Murray trying to pick his shots. Good combination again.
Right now, Murray can't miss. You may see him going to the body if those hands stay up as he's in against the fighter in a turtle-like defensive shell.
Alexander backs up. He's hurt again. This comes out of the category of gross mismatch. Uppercut.
Alexander looking for a soft place to fall right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to ask yourself, Dave, what does this fight really prove to Charles Murray? When he's in there against a guy who really absolutely does not belong in the same ring with him. Get out there! Get out there! 10 seconds left, and Alexander may get through the first round. Another good uppercut by Murray. An excellent round against a very inferior opposition.
Kind of round where you're guaranteed to look good in. The first right hand was there. And as far as the match is concerned, it shows you some of the logistics as far as moving these fighters. They wanted to have a fight tonight regardless.
Yeah, and that's about the only reason that Alexander's in there. It's really not any kind of a test for Charles Murray. I doubt, very frankly, that he can learn any more by beating Joe Alexander than he can learn in the gym on a day-to-day basis.
You feel fine?
And here's his first real serious punch of the fight. It's going to produce a knockdown. Look at the right hand coming up. And look at Alexander. Do I fall? Well, maybe not, but it counts as a knockdown. He's into the ropes.
I didn't know you were in there. All right. Laying up the rope. There's not much that can be said in Joe Alexander's corner, and in Charles Murray's corner, all they can do is just say, go out and do what you did. Incidentally, and I have to check this with our punch profile people, but Charles Murray had the highest single percentage of any fighter we've had here on Top Rank Boxing since we've had the punch profile system here. And in the first round, as you can see, it's just no contest, pretty indicative of how the round went.
And a lot of those 31 punches were power shots by Murray.
Murray went 67% in his victory over David Levi.
And you'll see a lot more of that in the lighter weight classes. The emphasis is a little bit more on flexibility than pure strength, and they are far more accurate.
You know, the other thing I really like, and I'm sure we'll mention this a few times tonight, about all these Olympians, not only the ones we're seeing tonight, but the ones almost top to bottom that we've seen since the Olympic Games, they really sort of know where they're at. They really understand the business. They don't only want to get in there and be champion. They realize it's a learning process. They're all really bright young men.
They don't sit on the laurels of a previous win and say, hey, I'm 6-0 now, that's really great. Like, they don't even measure their progress in terms of victory. They do it more by time.
So a good idea, the hand speed of Charles Murray there. Oh, a big right hand. Alexander caves in once again.
Murray can proceed that right hand with a body shot. He could probably get a knockdown right there and maybe the knockout.
This is just no contest. That's all there is to it. It really won't take much for Alexander to go. Well, if the name of the game is hit and don't be hit, then Charles Murray is playing the game just about the way it's written up. He hadn't been hit yet by any of those.
Showcasing a lot of good movement. Going side to side, getting into punching position. And he seems like he can't miss with the right hand.
A lot of these fighters, Murray included, they want the work. They want a guy who's going to be in there and make them work a little bit.
The factors beneath that make it difficult are the money the fighters can get to come in as the opponent for the built-up of the Olympic kids. A lot of them feel like they wouldn't get a call if it was close. And the third factor is that the Olympians are very talented.
Yes, very talented. It's a very good crop. And as a matter of fact, in Murray's weight division, junior welterweight division, starting to be one of the really solid weight divisions. We'll talk a little more about this, but think of these names: Chavez, Koji, Taylor, Garza, Bramble. We'll be back. Mention is a record for us here on Top Rank Boxing, 67% one of his earlier fights. Not as high tonight. And one of the reasons it's pointed out is that Alexander's just kind of covering up in almost a peekaboo style. So it's a lot harder to slip some of those jabs through. Good uppercut in the right hand.
And Murray showing you adjustment. When that's taken away upstairs, he goes to the body and comes from further distance. And these are the kind of situations his management wants him to learn.
And your card, I think, is probably predictable.
I'm sure it's accurate.
It's definitely accurate. And again, Alexander's shots all being caught either on the arms or the gloves. Polo punch. And it actually got there.
From a long distance, too.
Kid Gavilan would be proud, wouldn't he?
He even broke one of the textbook rules about throwing an uppercut from deep out like that, and he got away with it.
But here again, you know, I have to wonder, Dave, if you don't, by fighting a guy who is that much further down the ladder than you are, can you develop bad habits? I'm not saying that Murray is or will, but I would imagine that's a pitfall. Another big straight right hand. Alexander's ready to go again.
You definitely can develop the bad habits, and one of them could be the lack of a killer instinct.
Murray scored with all 3 of those punches.
Well, he can't miss with it. Good, sharp shooting. It's a good instinctive punch sense. You see him leaning his body into an attempted shot, trying to create openings. Kind of a thinking man's fighter in there.
He really is. In fact, he talked to us this morning about learning how to pronate his punches a little bit more, turn his punches in. He said it's an unnatural kind of feeling, and he has to actually tell himself to do that. Just to give himself a little more snap in his punches. There's no faulting Charles Murray. Believe me, I don't even mean to imply that he's not getting the job done here tonight. He's just in there against a guy who really can't provide the kind of opposition that you kind of feel he probably should have.
When you talk about his development, he's gotten to the point of picky specifics, turning the hand over, finding his room, just to get everything a little bit better.
Well, Alexander has gotten himself through the 3rd round, and he can probably thank a patient Charles Murray for that. I think he's doing it just to make a liar out of me, actually. There's the corner of Charles Murray, and it's an experienced corner. Hank Johnson, of course, been with him. Mark Roberts, who we spoke of a moment ago. Tommy Parks, who has been around this boxing ring more times than once.
Go ahead and get him out of there, Charles. Come on now. Come on. Open up on me, okay? When you get him hurt, follow up. Go ahead and step in there and get it over with. Don't keep letting him hang on like this.
Watch the Murray bomb again from way out. Perfect punch from a distance, right on the jaw. A few seconds later, he's at it again with the same shot from a distance. It lands pretty effectively. He probably wanted to be a little closer when he landed that and throw the same motion. But being that far away, he couldn't get the follow-up.
I think Charles is going to like what he sees in that slow motion replay, too, of what we were talking about a moment ago with really turning that punch. 4th round, and you might have heard at Charles Murray's corner, they said, get him out of there. Murray has been patient. As we said, he wants to work.
Well, you know how perception sometimes is such a big part of this game. Now the corner realizes he's gotten the work. They want the knockout. Put it on the record.
There's the punch profile, and as you can see, despite the fact that he's in there against a man who is content to cover up, he's still scoring on 47% of his punches.
And he's always bouncing and springing up into punching condition.
3 good body shots and an uppercut to end it. Very nice combination. Another big right hand. That backs Alexander into the corner, and he's ready to go again.
Murray may be a little bit guilty of headhunting throughout this fight and not setting up more shots with the jab like he was in the first 2 rounds.
Alexander just unable to mount any kind of offense at all against Murray. All his punches were lunging punches. Murray looking to counter right now.
Yeah, in the first 2 rounds, he was getting the right hand home behind the jab. You see it again. That's what he needs. When he jabs, he's not far away with the right hand because he steps into the punching range.
Left hand, that backs up Alexander. And again, Alexander backs into the ropes.
Flustered again, no movement, a target right here.
It's not very pretty, I'll tell you that.
And you're seeing Murray a little confused as to where to go with this kind of an opening. got to shoot more to the body, and at the same time, he knows he's got a big lead.
And again, Alexander backs up, and this time Murray moves in on him.
He's seriously hurt for the third time.
And another good shot. Tony Orlando taking a very close look here once again.
And he came closely because that right hand was telegraphed, and it still landed flush.
He's still on very unsteady legs. It's one of those fights you almost wish would end. In fact, there's no almost about it. I wish it would end. But Alexander is through another round. And your card after 4 rounds. And again, that 10-8 round in the first, otherwise a shutout.
And I would think that Alexander may have to start wondering what he's doing in this game. He told us this morning he's 30 years old, and he starts to feel like he's got to start winning or else, and here's somebody with only a handful of professional fights and just utterly dominating him.
He told us this morning he's going to auto mechanic school, and right now he's in there with a pretty fine-tuned machine. Another huge right hand by Murray drives Alexander back into the ropes.
He's just got a disadvantage with reach. He's got a disadvantage with speed. Even when he thinks he's doing something well, Murray can do a subtle movement and catch him.
Watch your head, Alexander. Quick!
You know, fighters take certain opportunities for motivation when they realize that, well, they were brought here to showcase the other person. That can get them up for a fight. But Alexander hasn't fought with that kind of intensity that you would expect from somebody a little mad about his billing.
Yeah, this is... I know you and I had doubts about this, even going back to this morning when we talked to both fighters. The record of Alexander would certainly substantiate that. And again, you have to question what this fight will do for Charles Murray.
Well, it'll teach him that he was in with a survivor and that he didn't knock him out or that he did, depending on what happened at the end.
That was a left hand by Alexander. Might have been his first solid punch of the fight. There again, working behind the jab, and as you said, when he does that, he does well. Alexander again is in trouble.
What he's got to learn to do is follow those.
Triple left hand and an uppercut behind it at the bell. Well, once again, we remind you that we're interested in what you think, and the subject of the night is who do you think Michael Nunn's next opponent should be? Nunn, of course, beat Iran Barkley last night. 30% feel that he should fight Sugar Ray Leonard, but I think, Dave, probably the most interesting number early in the voting here is that 36% think that he shouldn't fight either Leonard, Hearns, or Duran. Maybe they do think he should fight Bernstein, huh?
I'll tell you, Al's been training.
That's right.
But the thing is, you know, Leonard, it looked like that fight wouldn't happen off of Leonard's last fight. Everybody thought Nunn was invincible, and now they think that Leonard has come back down, or Nunn has come back down a level and could fight Leonard again. And this 36% says that people are not too happy with that division, and they don't know whether they like the division or the old-timers circuit.
And it really did look like the shining division for a while. It'd be interesting to know what people thought of Nunn's performance last night, if they thought he won friends or lost friends. Last 3 minutes of boxing here, and I said this fight wouldn't go long, and it shows you what I know. Only been one other fighter has gone the distance with Charles Murray. That was David Levi.
And it underscores the aspect of fighting for survival can often get you through a fight. may cause a lopsided decision loss, but it can get you through. Alexander has had some spurts of aggression, but they're always answered by Murray.
Alexander actually better in this 6th round and even in part of the 5th than he was in the 1st.
He's almost fighting as if he expected to go early, and since he didn't, he gained confidence. When you take all those shots and you're still there, that will let you get unwound a little bit.
Yeah. Start to think I've taken the guy's best and still on my feet. Maybe I can dish out a little bit.
But when you see all the flush shots that Alexander has taken, whether they've knocked him out or not,
Another right hand.
It's hard to even see him fighting again.
Another big right hand by Murray. Oddly enough, the first one seemed to hurt him more than the second one.
I think one thing Murray will take from this fight is that he didn't follow up a lot of these opportunities. And with the corner trying to get Murray to win by a knockout, they want to try to simulate a situation where it would be a championship fight and he needs a big last round.
Murray questionably will win the fight, but able to get his man out of there. He has a man in there who looked as though he was ready to go on no less than a half a dozen occasions. Now it appears that he will finish the fight on his feet. There's another right hand. 10 seconds left. And it's over. And Alexander has gotten through the 18 minutes of boxing here. Charles Murray probably a little bit disappointed with himself.
Well, this was a situation that had knockout written all over it from the beginning, from his first right hand in the bout. And it shows a lot of times how a classy boxer will stay within that style and maybe be reluctant to assume the identity of a slugger.
Take a look at the final punch profile numbers, and Murray did everything and scored a high percentage, landed 243 punches. There's no doubt as to the outcome of the fight. But you still have an idea that he might go back to his dressing room a little bit disappointed.
And those 243 measured on impact would look like maybe 743 compared to the 75 thrown up by Alexander. But that's what the learning experience is. He doesn't get the knockout. Maybe he goes to the post a little hungrier next time.
Yeah, I think that's true. And we'll get the official word now from Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's the official scoring. Bill Newman and Eva Shane both scored about 60-53. Tommy Kazmarek sees it 60-52 for the winner. By unanimous decision, he's still undefeated, Charles, the Natural Murray.
So not a surprise there. Charles Murray runs his record up to 7-0 now, still low with 5 knockouts as Joe Alexander went the route. We'll be back.